Here is the assignment for today, linear transformations practice. It says identify the slope and y-intercept of both line F and G below. Then describe how line F is transformed into line G by being specific about how the slope and y-intercept are changed. So whenever it says being specific about how they're changed, you're going to describe in words. So we're going to look at number 1 together first. We have line F. We need to find the slope. So here's line F. So we need to find 2 points to do rise over run. So it looks like it goes through the origin. And so let's find another point. It looks like it's actually going up 1 over 1. This looks like the linear parent function. Y equals x. So this is slope of 1. And the y-intercept, it goes through 0. Goes through x. Okay, now we'll look at line G. This one looks like it's going downhill. So let's look. Let's find a point. It looks like it goes through at 3. And then it goes down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. So down 1 over 1 would be negative 1 over 1 or just negative 1. And my y-intercept on G is 3. So now we have to describe in words by answering these 2 questions. It says the slope of line F was changed to make the graph of line G by, so let's look at just the slope. Slope was 1, and now it's 1. So if we look back at our notes, the change in direction changed the sign of the slope. That's the only thing that was changed to the slope. By changing the sign of the slope to a negative. So that flipped it around. It did a little flip. The y-intercept now. The y-intercept was 0. Now it's 3. The y-intercept of the line was changed to make the graph of the line G by, so let's look at changes in y-intercept. Changes in y-intercept deal with adding or subtracting to or from x, making the graph translate. So if you add, you go up. If you subtract, you go down. So we need to decide, did it go up or did it go down? It was at 0, then it's at 3. So it went up 1. So that means we would add to x to make the graph translate. We're going to add 3 by adding 3 to the equation. Okay, let's go look at number 2 now. Line F. So here's F. So this is the line. We need to find the slope and we need to find the y-intercept. So the slope, let's see. Here's a point, here's a point. We know the slope is negative because it's going downhill. And down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. So the little stair step can show us what our rise and run are. So our slope is -1. And our y-intercept looks like it crosses the y-axis right here at 0. And now look at line G. So G is going right here. So let's look and see. Now that's a good point. I can see that one really well. And then that one. And it looks like it's going in a pattern. You're kind of skipping 2. Or skipping 1. Going up 2. So it looks like it's rise, 1, 2, run 1. Rise, 1, 2, run 1. So rise 2 over 1 or just 2. And our y-intercept, well, if I go down 2, left 1, I get right here. So it's right at -1. So now we just need to describe. So the slope of the line F was changed to make the graph of line G by, anytime you're dealing with slope, it's going to be some kind of multiplication. When you deal with y-intercept, it's adding or subtracting. So if I look back at my notes, multiply x by a number to make the graph dilate. So one thing that was changed was it went from a negative to a positive. So that's one thing. By changing the sign. And what else though? It was -1, but now it's 2. One times 2 gets 2. So it's being multiplied by 2. Or we can use the word doubling. By changing the sign and doubling the slope, so 2 transformations were done. We changed the sign and we doubled it. Okay, now the y-intercept. The y-intercept of line F was changed to make the graph of line G by, so it went from 0 to -1. So remember with y-intercepts, you're adding or subtracting. So it was at 0 and now it's at -1. So what happened to it? It went from 0 to -1, so it actually just went down 1 by subtracting 1 from the equation. Okay, so 3 and 4 are going to be part of your homework, so we're going to skip that for now. Let's go to 5 and 6. Number 5, if the graph of y equals half x minus 3 is translated up 5 units, so underline translated up 5 units, write the equation of the graph of the new line. So we've got to decide what is going to change. If it's translated 5 up, that means it's, how did you get +2? Okay. So it's a change in the y-intercept because it was moved up. Translate's another word there. So if you want to put over here translate. so that you are looking for that keyword. Translate means you're going to move up or down, but it also means adding or subtracting to make the graph translate. Okay, so we are just going to translate 5. So we have y equals 1/2 x minus 3, but then we're going to add 5 to it because we're translating. Oh, couldn't see that. So this 1/2, the slope doesn't change, but these change, or this changes. -3 plus 5 plus 2. Number 6, if the slope of the line y equals 4x minus 1, plus 1, it's multiplied by half, write the equation of the new line. So it says if the slope is multiplied by -1/2, what do we have to do? We're only looking at the slope, and we're going to multiply that by -1/2. So half of 4 is 2, but then you have positive and negative, so that's -2 is your new slope. So I guess I should put m equals. So we found our new slope. That's the only change it had. So we're going to rewrite the equation, but with our new slope. Okay, so your assignment is to finish 3 and 4. And then over on the back, you are going to do just 1 through 6.